17 years, 14. I mean, but you're going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, blah, blah, blah. When are you Hall of Fame eligible?
This year.
This year?
Yeah, this year.
Wow.
Yeah, you believe that? It goes quick.
You got all those catch. Okay, so this is interesting.
Yeah, thanks for knowing me. I mean, we've been working together for a year.
I don't have your resume totally memorized. But it is interesting that, Kelvin Benjamin comes out and says, listen, man, it would have helped if a guy was more accurate. Mm-hmm. And Greg Jennings came on earlier and said, yeah, I was with Cam in the Pro Bowl my first year. And I was like, dude, there's safeties over there. You can't set me up. Tell me the quarterback, Tony, you played with that really understood the essence of throwing you open, protecting you, because there is a difference between guys.
Yeah. The guy I played with that could do that?
Yes.
I think me. I think as a player, you have to learn how to read the defenses. And so, okay, if it's a zone, I'll tell the quarterback, I'm not running that way. I'm going to sit down. If you throw it over there, that's on you. But I'm sitting down so I don't get hit. So a lot of those times you have to you control most of that. Now, not all the time, though. I think like 10% of the time the quarterback might throw me into a situation where I get in trouble. But a lot of the times I'm looking ahead to make sure that I'm staying safe.
So you do believe some of that culpability comes on the player, the receiver, the tight end?
I think absolutely. And that's one thing that I tell young guys all the time, is that if you keep running, you're going to get hit. Like, slow down on purpose, because that quarterback might not see that guy that you see. And if he throws it, you're going to get lit up.
Yeah. So when Kelvin Benjamin says that, your takeaway, because you've been critical of Cam before, you said you like him.
I like Cam.
But we're like 8-9 years into this thing, and he still makes mistakes that would drive people crazy.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. I think Cam is his greatest asset is 6'6", 265 pounds that can run.
Yeah.
Okay, that he needs to use his legs and that athleticism in order to be effective. That's when he won the MVP. They went to the Super Bowl. That's when he's at his best. I think Cam, over the last couple of years, people get in his head and they're saying, you gotta be that pocket passer. You got to keep evolving as a player, or he gets hurt and then he can't use that frame and that athleticism, and that hurts him. He's not an accurate quarterback. He's not. It's not a surprise. I played with him at the Pro Bowl too. A couple of those balls were flying 3 feet over my head, but then a lot of them were accurate too. It's not a bad. He's an NFL pro, very good quarterback. But I just think I agree with Kelvin Benjamin. Yeah, he's not an accurate guy, but Kelvin Benjamin just put a lot of pressure on himself. Let's see what you do now out there.
That's a good point. By the way, we're talking about of the many stories today. Baker Mayfield, Cleveland just traded one of their first round wide receivers for not much, and I said, we forget about in the NFL what people inherit. There's no question that Belichick and Kraft have helped Tom Brady. Now, Tom's a worker like you. You succeeded despite having to overcome some stuff, some coordinators that didn't throw the ball, some quarterbacks that weren't accurate. Great. Wilt Chamberlain was going to be great regardless of his coach. Calvin Johnson was going to be a Hall of Famer regardless of his coach.
Yeah.
But there's no question you can be elevated. And Tom Brady and you, I think Tom's been elevated. Carson Palmer goes to New England. Carson Palmer has a better career than he has. When you go to the situation with you, because you stayed in Kansas City for a long time. Mm-hmm. How did you not become bitter knowing, because players around the league, they know when the organization's poorly run, right?
Yeah.
How does Baker, 2 years in, it's a grease fire, not get bitter? How did you avoid that?
I got bitter. I was really bitter. Oh, yeah, I was moody and everything. You're looking at the organization like, what kind of pick is that? What kind of signing is that? And, you just have to keep your mouth shut and keep going. If you don't want to rock the boat too much. That's one thing about my career that I wish I probably would have rocked the boat a little bit more, because I had a voice and I don't think I used it as much as I could have.
You wanted to be popular early.
You wanted to be popular. I was really concerned about being liked by everybody, which as I gotten older, I don't care anymore.
Right.
You have to kind of go for what you know and what's going to make you happy. So I look at Baker. I like Glenn Dorsey though. The general manager.
Yeah. John Dorsey. Yeah.
John Dorsey. I'm sorry. He's making some good. I don't have a problem with it. He's getting his guys in there. But if Baker is the first pick overall, you're expecting franchise. You're expecting greatness, and he's going to play above all that stuff. I remember with myself that. It doesn't matter who I'm playing with, what quarterback I'm playing with. I still have to make plays, and I still have to go out there and make it happen for myself. And Baker's, I don't think he's going to be in that situation. I think Dorsey's going to get him the right players. They're going to set the right tone, the right mindset, and I think the Cleveland Browns are going to turn this thing around.
By the way, Peyton Manning visited Raiders camp, spoke highly of Jon Gruden. I don't question Gruden's ability to figure out the new NFL schematically. But 10 years ago, a coach could walk into a locker room and say, no politics, and it was understood. If a coach walked into a locker room today and said, no politics, a third of the locker room would think, racist.
Yeah.
It's a different room.
Yeah.
Say Gruden left, and it was the old room. The new room is players want to be heard. I think he struggles potentially with that.
Ooh, I could see that, him too, struggling with that. But it is Jon Gruden. He's got the name. He's got the prestige. He's got he's had success in the past. He's a Super Bowl coach. Just like Bill Belichick. There's no politics going on in there. You don't see the guys protesting. You don't see the guys acting like that because they respect Bill Belichick and they know it's going to win. The only way this goes sour for Jon Gruden is if they start losing. But I think he's going to have a grace period his first year, which he should. He's got to get his guys in there, set the tone. But I think people respect him enough. He's Jon Gruden. He's one of the most popular, coaches in the NFL now.
But you saw at the end of your career, social media was starting to grab people. It is harder today, right? You saw your last year in the league.
Yeah, harder
to be strong, defiant as a coach, my way or the highway. It's harder today.
It is so. Well, you know what it does? You have to win. You have to win.
Yeah.
Once things fall apart, the wheels fall off. And I don't care what it is. In the NFL, sports especially, I think you look at what's going on with Pete Carroll now. You think
they loved him 3 years ago.
They loved that guy. And now you got ex-players saying, "Oh yeah, he's losing his touch. He's losing this," and I'm dumbfounded sometimes when I see this, how quickly things can turn and fall off. And that's another reason why I kept my mouth shut too at times, because I knew I didn't want to add to the chaos that was already there. That's what happens.
Well, every locker room, even the good ones, has some chaos.
It's going to have chaos, but that's where it's up to the head coach to get it right, and that's why coaches get fired. Some can't handle it. Most of them can't handle it. Very few great coaches out there.
By the way, when you were in the NFL, were you ever in a room that just literally went upside down in the air?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember being out at practice where just a melee. The whole team was fighting. I'm talking a all-out brawl.
In Kansas City?
In Kansas City during practice, the receivers against the DBs, all 10 receivers against all 10 DBs, whatever it was, and just where we had to call practice in the middle of a losing season because everybody's frustrated and everybody's blaming.
Who was the coach?
Pointing fingers. Dick Vermeil was the coach at that point.
And he called practice off.
Yeah, called practice off. And he wasn't around. It's what happens. When everything's going great, everybody gets all the glory. As soon as it starts going bad, the coach is going to get blamed. The quarterback's going to get blamed. Everybody's going to be pointing fingers. The general manager, he's not making the right choices, yada, yada, yada. And it's just how it goes.
When you so last week, Gronk came out, and Gronk said, Tom's mellowed. He's not the same. He's different. And I've read so many stories about people. I remember years ago reading a story about Tom Brokaw when he was 30 and 40, and then one of his kids said, "Yeah," and then Dad hit like 55, and it just, he'd been successful, he'd won awards, his achievements had been lauded. Go back. Was there a point in your career? I'm not saying you didn't work as hard,
yeah,
but that the switch flipped, that you mellowed.
Absolutely.
Why? Why did it?
Why? I think because you've been around so many times, you don't have to have it all. When you're young, you're searching for that glory. You're trying to do everything so perfect and so great, and then you realize you don't have to do that. In fact, you're hurting yourself when you do that. You're not having it. Maybe success is probably always going to be the same for Tom, but maybe he's not having as much fun. You start to mellow out. You start to have a good time a little bit more.
I totally agree with that.
You get rid of that pressure. And things come to you easily. I was not working as hard as I was when I was younger.
That's a really good point. Was I telling you this or Goulet this? This show has gotten easier to me every year.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's like you're almost a quarterback. The show just gets a little easier.
And I think that comes with success. You have a great show and you have a great audience, so you know. It's like no longer are you trying to prove yourself. You're just enjoying yourself.
That's a great way to put it. I'm just having fun.
You're having fun. Look at you. You're having fun.
By the way, you are an actor.
Yeah.
And I watched Mission Impossible this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm not really into the whole Tom Cruise vibe thing. I'm tired of people saying he can't act. That was one of the best movies, I'm not kidding you, I've ever seen. Have you watched Mission Impossible?
My mom told me about it, and she said, I loved it. She said it was great.
So, and you, Mr. Hollywood, you're like, no, it's not critically acclaimed. Was it good? Have you seen it?
I would love to be in Mission Impossible.
Let me tell you something. Fantastic.
Yeah?
Crews can't work forever. Joy over here is getting snooty. She's like, well...
Wait, I mean, he says it's a top 20 movie of all time.
All time. Your mother loved it.
My mother loved it.
Your mother has been a rock.
It's very good.
It's very good.
Yes,
You've seen it. Okay.
You know what it is? It's Mission Impossible. He's doing impossible things. He's given an impossible mission. Should he choose to accept it? He accepts it, and then he saves the day. Sorry to spoil it. That's what it is.
You two are a couple of movie snobs.
No, I am not. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I didn't. It was not the French artiste.
I really enjoyed it.
It's incredible.
It's not top 20 movie of all time.
Okay, by the way, Hall of Fame this weekend. Randy Moss went up there. Belichick hugged him. Robert Kraft. You're going to be given this speech in 1 year. Will you cry? Did you watch the speeches? Will you cry?
Of course I watched the speeches. It was great. Will I cry?
Come on, Tony.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
You're very emotional. You're very ethereal.
I don't know.
Who are you going to thank?
Everybody. Not everybody. I'm not going to go down. I'm going to thank the people that need to be thanked. My mom, my brothers, my wife, my coaches, the coaches I had a chance to play with, some of the players that I played with. Yeah, I'm going to do it.
I was told this years ago, when you do a Hall of Fame speech, have one great story and a funny line to close.
Yeah.
And you're like 12 and a half, 15 in, get out.
I have a couple stories that I think I could tell, yeah.
Can you tell me half of one now?
No.
Oh, dang it.
Why would I tell you?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.